How's it going, everybody? If you are a general contractor or run a construction business here in Michigan, then this video is for you. Today I wanted to talk about the workers' compensation insurance for your business and what this policy covers, and then some of the factors that go into determining the cost. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Brian. I'm an independent insurance agent based here in Michigan, Metro Detroit specifically, and I work with businesses on their commercial insurance programs, as well as helping families and individuals with their personal insurance, their home, their auto insurance as well. My goal with this channel is to pass on just a little bit of educational information to you so that you can make more informed decisions around your insurance, and then overall help answer any questions that you might have. So let's get into it, and before we get too far into the video, I do want to invite you to subscribe to the channel, and if you find this video helpful, useful, anything like that, please feel free to like, share, pass it along with anyone else as well. Here in Michigan, your business is required to carry workers' compensation insurance by law if you have at least one employee. And workers' comp insurance protects both your employees and your business if an employee does get injured while on the job. It will cover things like the medical expenses, the lost wages, and rehab services for that injured employee. And it will also cover employer's liability coverage, which helps protect your business if there's ever a lawsuit that follows from one of those employee injuries. And this is extremely important in an industry like construction, where even if you have safety protocols and safety programs in place, accidents can still happen and severe injuries unfortunately can follow. Now let's go over the coverage limits that you might be looking into for this policy. Here in Michigan, there are certain minimum coverage requirements that the state has, and those are $100,000 per employee, $500,000 for the whole policy, and then $100,000 per accident. And while those limits might sound like a lot of coverage, the reality is those limits simply are not enough if your business does have an employee that has a serious injury. This is why we always recommend going with $1 million limits across the board for the policy. And the good news is it really typically isn't that much more expensive to have those $1 million limits versus the minimum coverage requirements. And also, if your business is bidding on larger work, larger contracts, there is a good chance that you will be required to have these $1 million limits. So having them on your policy from the start can help prevent any issues down the road when it does come to bidding on certain projects. So now, what exactly impacts the cost for the policy? One of the biggest factors is going to be your payroll, and then the next factor is going to be the class codes for your employees based on the job duties that they're doing. For example, a carpenter is going to be rated differently than, say, an executive supervisor versus somebody doing clerical or office work. The type of work and the class codes associated with each of your employees directly ties into your rate for this coverage. And every insurance company will have different rates for each of these class codes, which is why it's so important to work with an agent who does have access to multiple insurance companies, especially those that have experience and want to underwrite in the construction space. Because some insurance companies will have simply a better appetite and lower rates for certain types of class codes than others. And another factor that will be at play here is your claims history and your experience modification factor. If your business does have a history of claims, this can impact your experience mod, which will in turn increase your rate. But on the opposite side, if you do have a clean claims history, this can result in a lower mod, which can lower your premiums. So this is just another reason why taking safety seriously within your business is extremely important. Another important item to note with workers' comp policies is that they are subject to an audit at the end of the policy period. This means at the end of the policy term, the insurance company will compare your actual payroll to your estimated payroll. So if you underestimated your payroll at the beginning of the policy, there could be additional premium that you owe, then vice versa. If you overestimated your payroll, you could be getting a refund. So this is why it is extremely important to try to get those numbers as accurate as possible from the start. And then one last thing I do want to mention is around subcontractors. It is extremely important to make sure that they do carry their own insurance and that you have formal subcontractor agreements stating that they need to have their own policies in place. If not, they could be treated as employees within your business for workers' comp purposes, which could impact your premium. And then also just your general exposures and liability as a whole. And this can especially be relevant during the audit process and if there's ever a claim. So again, if you do use subcontractors, it's important that they either have their own policy or are added and accounted for on your policy. So overall, at the end of the day, workers' comp isn't just simply about compliance. It really is about making sure that you do have the right coverage in place to protect your employees and your business. So thank you for watching, and if you are looking for help with your workers' comp insurance or commercial insurance program as a whole, I would love the opportunity to work with you and see if our team can help. There are a lot of ways to get a hold of me, and they should all be in the description below. Please feel free to text, call, email, fill out a contact form, whatever is easiest. And if you have any other questions about insurance, please feel free to either reach out directly or leave them in the comments below. I would love to help answer those as well. So thank you again.